What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we are finally finishing season 1 of Todd McFarlane's Spawn on HBO. But before we get into all of that, Dave, Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
Well, Keith, I'm going to get through this as fast as I can. I am fan-freaking-tastic, and I am so happy that we are done with this Spawn torture. I guess I hope there's people in the chat tonight that like Spawn, because I want to know. And even if you're watching this on YouTube later or on Twitch later, comment. I want to know what was so special about this show. I want to know why everybody liked it so much. Other than that, let's see what Mr. Doug McFarlane has to say. Doug, how are you doing today?
David, thank you for summoning me. I was admiring my Dane Cook DVD. I was just thinking about how badass of a comedian he is. But David, Keith, I have a question for you, gentlemen. If you had to choose between embracing the darkness or pulling out the last second like a coward, asking, was it as good for you as it was for me, what would you pick? I'm Doug McFarlane, co-host of Not Your Status Quo, and as we reach the end of Spawn Season 1, one thing's clear: not everyone's willing to go all the way. Keith, Dave, and I made it through all 6 episodes. Demons, betrayals, capes that defy physics, and totally did not rip off any other superheroes. I made it up myself. There are also monologues so dramatic they might make Batman blush. But while some of us are ready to walk away, I stare into the abyss and I consider hitting play on Season 2. Why? Because sometimes pain is the only thing that makes you feel alive. This is it. The final descent. Welcome to Spawn. Now, turn on the lights because I'm afraid of the dark. Keith, help.
The lights are on. And
Hey, I just noticed something.
What's
the
that,
guy's
sir?
name is Keith David.
yeah.
Me. All right, go ahead. How are you doing?
Save the best for last. I am doing tremendously. Thank you for asking. After that wonderful introduction from Doug McFarlane, Toddlin, nothing could be better than to getting in to Spawn Season 1, Episode 5 and 6. We get Souls in the Balance and Endgames. Obviously, Marvel was ripping off Spawn Season 1 with Endgame. The entire MCU is a joke. They ripped off Todd McFarlane's. You have to call it Todd McFarlane's Spawn. You can't just call it Spawn.
Every time. Otherwise, he'll see you.
I'm the creator. I'm the creator of Spawn. So obviously I'm a genius because I have an animated show on HBO. I seriously, I want to rewatch these episodes without him talking at the beginning, because he put such a bad taste in my mouth that I think the episodes suffer.
You're probably right.
2, I wonder. Does he continue to do that throughout the entire series?
I didn't actually start watching Season 2, so I couldn't tell you for sure. I don't know, but I'm like Keith. The minute we turned it on, because I had never watched Spawn back when it originally premiered. I wonder why. But I never watched it. And so when I started up the episode, and I'm thinking this might be pretty cool, Image Comics, see if it's as good as everybody seems to make it out to be. And when it started with that opening, I'm like, oh, this is weird. I wonder what's with the whole live action thing. And then we see the creating a comic panel with a fountain pen. I'm like, okay, this is how we're opening up. And then you get the monologue from Mr. McFarlane himself. And I'm like, oh no, what am I watching? And I had to go backward. I'm like, did I just hear that right?
The best part of it all is when he's drawing, he's just like drawing lines. He's not like drawing Spawn's face or his cape or anything. He's just drawing lines. I'm like, who like okayed this opening? Who thought this was a good idea? He did. You're an amazing artist. We want to catch you doing your craft, focusing on that skill and just showing the people what you do best. I'll draw some lines, filling it in.
Anybody else catch some Zack Snyder vibes?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
This is good, and we can't see it because we aren't artsy enough, or we are not intelligent enough to see what's so good about it. We
should have watched it in black and white. You're right.
Yeah, and 4:3. Right,
it was already that.
Yeah, that's true. We should have done the opposite then.
Oh, expanded it to widescreen. Yeah.
Widescreen.
We should have added some artificial 3D effects too. 4D.
Yeah, 5D, make it smell.
Yes. Oh, if we could smell like Spawn's rotting corpse.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
I was saying to Keith earlier, I was like, I know we're used to watching superhero stuff, and this is a horror. He's not really a hero. He's not a superhero. This is just a horror story, right? Mm-hmm. But it's the worst horror story I've ever seen. I'm sorry. I don't even remember exactly what happened these last 2 episodes because I looked at my phone so much.
Well, let me tell you, Spawn had to deal with a crazed priest who liked grenades, and he killed a bunch of cops, and he had a mute kid.
Hold on. I think you're overselling it, Keith. Oh. Did Spawn deal with the crazed priest?
Well, at the end, he finally did. Oh, you're right. He didn't. Because he didn't have the guts to do what he had to do.
Yep, explain that to me before I watch it, and then let me watch it play out. It's a great way to get me into the show.
All I can think of is like when Todd McFarlane is creating these characters, he's like, I gotta be super extreme. He's gonna be a priest, and he's gonna have a mute kid, and he's gonna hold him hostage. He's got grenades, and he's gonna blow up cop cars, and he's gonna do all this crazy stuff. And then the big twist at the end, it's actually the Violator.
Right, yeah.
Whoa!
Cliffhanger.
That's incredible. I just don't know what to say.
Wow. I was seriously watching it, and I told you guys, I'm like, that 25-minute episode seemed like about an hour and a half. It was so poorly constructed. It was so boring to watch. And Dave and I were talking about this before you jumped on the stream, before we started, that the only good voice acting is Keith David. He does such a good job as Spawn. Everyone else is so terrible. Once again, the characters are still thinner than a paper plate. I don't care about anybody. Not even the people we're supposed, not even, Cyan and whoever else, but it was just, what we just have? Thanks, Tall Guy 0403. Subscribed with Prime. 31 months.
Nice.
We appreciate it, Tall Guy.
Hey, I saw it up there at the top. Very cool.
Yeah, that was fantastic. We appreciate it, Tall Guy. But what a complete waste of time. I mean, I'm like, there's nothing original. And once again, this was 25 years ago or what, 28 years ago, whatever it is. And something maybe like that, it wasn't as cliched and tropey then as it is now, but God, this is just the worst to watch. It is so boring. And I really hoped something would happen in these last 2 episodes to finish off the season that had some redeeming qualities. And there's really not.
Here's the thing. On paper, the premise does actually sound kind of intriguing. So, we start off, right? We've got this priest, as you had mentioned. He's abducted a little boy, a little mute boy. So the boy can't call for help. And Spawn sees this happening. And he doesn't stop this. Like, he knows, like, anyone looking at this scene of the grenade wielding priest would know something is up. And he decides, it's not really my problem. Sounds a little familiar, right? My first thought was, oh, this is kind of like Peter Parker. It's taking place at the end of the season. I'm like, okay, well, it's a little weird that we're finally getting I think he died when he was, 40 or something? It's a little weird to get our redemption arc, like, now of all times. So he lets it go, but the person he goes after is the cop trying to stop this crime. He hangs him from this wall, leaves him alive, hangs him from the wall like a decoration, and decides he's going to go take a nap, I guess.
Well, when you're a demon spawn, it's pretty taxing on your body, especially when you're a corpse. So you have to take a nap every now and then.
He actually went and perched himself on top of a church with his flowing cape and scowling down at the unwashed masses.
Right.
Who does that?
Spawn?
Gargoyles?
Todd McFarlane Spawn.
And no other character, because he invented that.
Yeah,
but
that's never.
It was so. That one, whoever the guy is who preaches at him all the time. You could have saved that. He didn't.
Man.
He didn't ask for help.
Yes.
It's like,
yes. Oh my God, how ridiculous! I mean, even I wonder the person playing Old Man, because I don't know what the hell his actual name is. I just know that's what Spawn calls him. I wonder if he was reading the script and he just kind of like went ad lib and he's like, the kid was mute. What is wrong with you? Oh man, do you want me to read that again? No, actually, that was good. That was better.
That was better than
I
what
guess you say something about having responsibility with power. No, that hasn't been said yet. Okay.
These character actors, except for Keith David, are terrible. The worst for voice acting I've heard. I'm not saying the actors because I don't know if they've done other things, but at least on this show, atrocious. Atrocious.
It's like the director, they did their lines and the director said, there's too much emotion in it. Could you take it down?
Right.
You just yell. And then you talk.
Could you read this like this is your first time seeing this line? Well, it is. Perfect.
Perfect. Just read it as calm as can be, even though you're running. Okay, so that's what we'll do.
I forgot about that.
and the clown is the worst to me. That cackling voice. I know it's meant to be annoying, but it's annoying in not in a scary way, but more like if you're chewing gum in my ear type of way.
When he was on like the roof laughing about what was going on, I'm just like, oh my God, you took a character I hated and made me hate them even more. And not in the way he wanted me to hate him. Like I hated him because he was just so atrocious.
Like he's not even really that good of a bad guy because he doesn't. The entire premise doesn't make sense, and I'm still not entirely clear. Maybe you guys figured it out, but I never did. So, what does the clown want Spawn to do? Does he just want him to kill? Is that it?
I believe he wants him to lead the hell Spawn in the war against the good, the light on Earth or whatever. But I do want to shout out, we got a first-time chatter who followed us, gave us a follow. We appreciate that. It is Haplop Tri-Official. I am butchering that, and I apologize, but howdy, how is the game going? I am here from Threads. We're not playing a game tonight. We are talking a little retro review of Spawn, the animated series, back from the late 90s. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for the follow. We're here all week. Not really. But if you saw Spawn, let us know what you thought. If you didn't, don't waste your time.
Yeah, if you saw it and you liked it, that's what we want to know. Why? Not to judge anybody, but we just don't see what everybody else saw in it. We'd like to know.
Yeah.
What do you see in it?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get it. I don't fully grasp what they're trying to accomplish. I mean, at least with Ghost Rider, which just totally didn't knock off in any way. It's original, trust me, bro. With Ghost Rider, it seems a little more clear. The devil needs a bounty hunter essentially to go and catch escaped souls, send them back to hell. I need a Ghost Rider to do that. He can be my operative on Earth. Great, makes sense. But we haven't heard from, whatever demon that that Al Simmons made this deal with. We've only ever heard it told to us from the Violator. That's the only way that we've really heard about this is having him narrate to us. They didn't even show it. It's like, you made the deal, Spawn. So you have to do the thing. And it's like, yeah, but what do you want him to do exactly? I get that eventually, sure, we're going to do this whole war between heaven and hell. But in the meantime, before the war happens and he's supposed to lead the soldiers of hell or whatever, what is the goal? What do you want him to do? Why was going to a pedophile to have him kidnap a child part of your plan?
It just seems evil. It's evil for evil's sake.
For evil's sake?
Yes. That's it.
So we're just being edgy.
I didn't understand, like, why Spawn not killing or killing the pedophile guy, the congressman's son.
Yeah. Why did that matter?
Yeah. I mean, who cares? And then even jumping to the end of the season, but even with the little girl, like, being reunited with her mom, there was no feels whatsoever, and it was just like, yep, that's what happens next.
No, you're wrong. For one brief second, maybe not even a whole second, you kind of saw Spawn's eyes sort of slant downward because he was sad, and Cyan said, "The sad man gave it to me." So that was your emotion for both episodes. You get one of them.
And I like that she never said it was the guy who saved me.
Right.
And then he has Al's wedding ring, and she's like, "Did my
where the hell did you get this?
Kidnap you? What's going on here?"
That's gonna be the mystery of the next season, trying to figure out who dug up her lost husband's grave.
And then gave it to her daughter.
Right.
And it's going to cause a rift between her and her new husband. Why do you have your old husband's wedding ring? I knew it. My boss was right at work. The weapon shipments aren't really missing, and you're cheating on me with the thought of your ex-husband who performed a move like the one that stole the weapons from the CIA secret weapons depot and other edgelord type things that happened in this series.
Right, baby. I heard you mention that before. You said that he did a move like my long lost husband, Al Simmons. What move was that exactly? Like, what kind of? Well, he
did
there was
the
a
swirl
hole
at the end.
Yeah, there was a hole in the wall, and then he twirled, and then he disappeared. Wow, did my husband? Well, no, your husband didn't have the ability to teleport away, and I don't think he wore a cape, but it had the same vibes.
Just something about it reminded me of Al. Oh, that's deep.
Let me ask you a question, guys.
You remind me.
What happened to the angel that was supposed to come down and have a war with the Spawn? She only appeared on one episode. Oh boy, that's intriguing. I can't wait to find out. Yeah, I can't wait to find out what happened to her.
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to watch season 2 and 3.
See, Dave, like any great writer, laying seeds out for future seasons. Because he had to, what really needed to be set up in this first season, through the constant monologuing, was that a war is coming between good and evil, heaven and hell, light versus L. It's coming. We are going to have this massive war. And Spawn is supposed to be, working for the Dark One, the devil. but he's still kind of good because he wouldn't kill a child murderer. Who,
No.
hold on, I'm trying to piece this together. I'm lost now. Hold on.
Wait, hold on. This will make sense. So, okay, so he didn't okay, so he was a super assassin, CIA, NSA, Marine, Navy SEAL operative in his life, and he is responsible for the death of thousands. But there was that one time in an alley where he didn't kill a child murderer, but then he got shot by a demon clown anyway.
Yeah,
So
keep
evens
going,
out,
man.
I
I'm
guess.
interested. I am so interested. Keep going. I want to hear more.
I am
Wait.
I am almost interested enough to find out how killing that councilman's pedophile bastard child is what starts this war between heaven and hell. Like if he would have lived, oh, okay, you know what? This guy was arrested. Like anyone hears the news. You know what? A child murderer was killed today. They would be like, darn.
Right.
They wouldn't
That's
be
what happens.
rising up or doing anything. It was such a weird like point to have as the end of a season. Be like, oh, he made his choice now. Like I'm never gonna stop pursuing him. You're pursuing him? You were like his sidekick earlier in the season. What is going on? Someone please explain to me how any of this makes sense or is good. I would love to just have one person say, what you missed, Keith, is all of this wonderful stuff. And I was, oh my God, you're right. I'm so blind and so, naive. I missed all of that.
Well, hold on. Let me email my old buddy Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, and I'll see if he can give us some of the answers. He's probably forgotten. He was probably way too stoned out of his mind back then or something. I don't remember any of that. Did I make an animated series? Really?
No, he's never smoked weed in his life.
Oh God, he's too edgy for that.
He dropped acid instead.
Oh, I see. Wouldn't want to smoke weed.
In the chat on YouTube.
What about the chat on YouTube?
We have a McLean in there.
Oh yeah, LOL.
Huh.
Michelle McLean. Wonder if she's
Laughing
any
at
relation
our
to
review.
John McLean.
Probably.
Yeah,
I can see
probably,
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But welcome
So-
to the chat, Michelle. We appreciate you out there.
Dave, you got me thinking of something that we see in film a lot when you brought up the whole why haven't we seen the angel except for that one episode.
Yeah.
You guys are familiar with the term Chekhov's gun, right? The idea
No.
the idea is if you see a gun in the beginning of a movie or at some point it needs to be fired. It has to pay off. There has to be a point. You don't show it unless there's a reason to. Like it has to and that's where it came from. This idea that if somebody shows you a weapon, it needs to fire at some point. Otherwise, what is the purpose? What's the point? They showed us this angel being a badass and exclaiming that she needs to go for this hellspawn, and then we never see her again.
Yep.
The same thing with this weird bill that comes up out of nowhere, as if this is supposed to be a big deal that we know about, that the senator is trying to get passed. He brings it up in, I think, episode 5, and then by episode 6, we find out it gets shot down. Cool. Why did you bring it up? What does it have to do with anything? Like, you literally dedicated minutes in both of these episodes to this pointless plot. Like, who cares? What purpose did it serve to the narrative?
You just don't get it, Doug. You aren't seeing it, man. You aren't seeing it. It's deeper than that.
The bill was so that the CIA guy could say, you know how many favors I had to call in to shoot this down? That's going to hurt my things. You tried to ruin me, and I had to do things to stop it. Your political career will be over if you do it again. I'd be like, I'm going to do it again then. Can we just stop my political career now?
If you go back to like episode 1, he's like, I didn't want to be president. You're making me.
I don't want any of this. So yeah, I do want to ruin my political career. Thank you. Where is
weird?
Alberto Falcone when you need him?
is it weird to have a bad politician who knows that they're a bad politician, is aware of the skeletons in their closet, and is like, yeah, these are the reasons I shouldn't be president. Isn't that a weird thing?
Yeah, that would,
It is.
To have somebody that aware of their own, like, I live a very irresponsible life. I've made very poor decisions. I would be a bad choice. I wouldn't vote for me.
I have an illegitimate child who is a child murderer, and I helped frame another man for the murders he did. Even though the murders continued after this other guy was in jail, I think I pushed him off the trail. You know what I'm saying?
How you doing, guys? I'm the mobster on the show.
I mean,
And it's
So memorable, I can't remember his name.
Tony Twist.
Tony Twist.
And of course, when Spawn goes back, he's like, of course, has to insult his, I told you, you fat piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yep, that is exactly the insult I would expect from this show.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I don't think that's an appropriate insult nowadays. I mean, I get that, again, back then, you've got to say the F word every other sentence. You've got to call people insults based off of the way that their body is. And that flew back then. That was very normal. Back then, it was probably very acceptable. But now, it sounds so weird because it's not something they've inserted into TV shows or movies in a very long time.
yeah, well, I got used to hearing it, so it wasn't shocking anymore.
Yeah. That is pretty bad when, like, the thing that's trying to be edgy and shocking, like, overdoes it to the point where it's not even shocking anymore. Good point, Dave.
Yeah, it's kind of like, doing a bunch of crazy stuff so that the really crazy stuff is hidden.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff that you're doing is up front and you're, like, distracted by that.
Mm-hmm. Man, I can't wait till next season when Spawn is, dealing with the ultimate decision. Do I save my wife who's getting ready to be blown away by a tornado, knowing that I can? Or do I go, perch on a church top again and just watch it happen? Because I can't be found out and caught.
Here's what we do. We watch the rest of My Uncle from Another...
I would rather watch
Spawn.
My Uncle from Another World than watch Spawn.
Hello,
That's pretty
Alex.
bad. That's pretty bad, guys. Yeah, you might eventually like it more. Like I said, towards the end, he doesn't change as a character. The uncle, he stays the same, just a bumbling idiot that bumbles his way through everything. But the side characters are better as the episodes go on.
I'm just saying it'd be more worth it to watch that than watch any more Spawn. If I can go back in time and remove my Spawn, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Then I would go back and I would finish watching My Uncle from Another or Reality or whatever.
I just want to say hello to Alex out in the YouTube chat. Thank you for joining. We're discussing Spawn, the animated series, a treasure from 1997, and I use that term loosely.
But don't let go.
Yeah, if you've seen it, let us know.
Yeah, I am very curious because prior to us reviewing this is not something that we watched when it originally aired. And prior to us watching this to do this retro review, we heard nothing but like praises. A lot of people have said this is amazing. They think about it very nostalgically, and not just this, but the comics and the movie, the action figures. My cousin had like a really big Spawn action figure, and I remember sitting on his desk. And like just the detail with the chains and the cape, I'm like, man, that is a cool character. I really need to check out some of his stuff one of these days. I never did. I don't know why, but it kind of went in, I saw it and I thought I've got to, read more about the Spawn character. Never got around to it. And now that we finally did, I'm not impressed.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Same.
So I'd love to know, you out there in the chat, both on Twitch and YouTube, if you've seen Spawn or you read Spawn, whether it's the animated series or the movie, or read the comics, what, were you into it? What got you into it? What is like so captivating about this character?
And Alex from YouTube chat said he has not seen it.
Lucky man.
You think with 6 episodes, they might want to try to limit some of the plot lines, have a good introduction for the character, not make him so horrible to be around. Like, if you're going to make this guy, even if he's an anti-hero, he should be nice to somebody. Like, there has to be some redeeming
he was just
quality.
a jerk.
To everybody. The vagrants who were trying to help him in the alley, he was a jerk to. The old man who was trying to, like, hey, there's a thing, he was mean to him. A mute kid who's held hostage by a demon.
We should have
nice
asked for help.
Yeah.
He couldn't.
Everything about him was like, okay, there's nothing redeeming about this character. And the funny part is, for this hell spawn, I mean, he's kind of weak. Like, he's from hell. And in the second episode, Kincaid, the pedophile character, throws fire at him. And it, knocks him down and throws him back. And I'm like, shouldn't he just be, like, ingesting that? And like, haha, you tried to, throw off a demon with fire? With normal earth fire? I'm like, man, whoever wrote this, they don't know the power level of Spawn, because sometimes he's the most powerful thing standing, and other times he like trips over a twig and he's on the ground going for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, did you notice? Okay, animation nitpick. Keith, did you notice that Spawn has the ability to turn bullets back in time after they've been shot out of a gun?
It's funny you say that. First, I want to say hi to Ginger Fox, the horror queen, out in the chat. Good day to you also. If you've seen Spawn, please let us know. But I noticed that it was so funny because the bullet comes out of him and it's whole. It's what you would put back in a pistol. That's not how that works. That is not how a bullet gets fired out of a gun.
I saw that and I'm like, huh. I don't think the person who drew this knows how guns work.
I don't think the person who drew it knows how anything works.
They know how a pencil works.
I can understand. Let's say that...
I can't even say it. Calligraphy pen.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Let's say that somehow in this instance, even though he wasn't before, in this instance, Spawn has bulletproof powers. Like he's a man of steel. He's got, which is a totally new. He's a man of lead, new superpower. Nobody else has this. So bullet hits it, it should be flat and then drop down, because when a bullet fires from a gun, the end cap, that's what ignites it and shoots the thing. And then, the metal, that's how it would work. Okay, so, all right, maybe he wasn't bulletproof. All right, maybe it, it popped out later. Still, it's going to be kind of a squished metal cap, short. Not a full working bullet.
Yes,
again,
it is.
Animation nitpick.
If you watch Daredevil or Born Again, you would know the shell comes out of the gun and rolls away. And it may roll downhill if there's a slight incline and maybe go into a thing. It doesn't, the entire bullet doesn't shoot out of the gun, still fully formed, and penetrate people's bodies. That's not how it works. Because anyone who's had to fire a weapon, whether in the military, for fun, or whatever, you're done, there's a bunch of shells around you.
Yeah. And then if you're in the military, you have to pick all of them up because apparently you have nothing better to do with your life.
Yes. And then you have to
can't
clean
leave
the
any
carbon
proof
out
that
of
you were there.
Right. Yeah, you can't leave any proof there. Okay, are we done being army boys? Okay, everybody go pick up. That's what happens, really. No.
Everybody clean up the lawn care crews coming in, and they're gonna sweep this whole place. So
we're gonna jump into tangent time for a moment because Alex asked us, have you seen the Doomsday cast announcement? Yes. I watched the entire 5.5 hours of it. I was doing other things, but I had it on, waiting for each chair to come up, and then finally see Robert Downey Jr. himself giving me the Agatha shushing from the chair. You know,
The worst reveal ever.
it really was.
Yeah.
But I did laugh heartily when the Thunderbolt said, "Oh, you're going to need to sit down for this. Get us some chairs." Oh, there's no chairs left. That was funny to me. But I mean, I'm like, I think we kind of talked about this before. I'm excited to get a new Avengers film. I hope it's good. But leaning on nostalgia instead of moving forward with something new, like, love Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Don't get me wrong. But bringing him back as Doctor Doom, I'm hoping they're bringing him back because he's a fine actor, and it's not just some Tony Stark variant that's going to be Doctor Doom acting like Tony Stark. I want to see, what we got in Infinity War, what we got in Endgame. Those were tremendously good movies that I thoroughly enjoyed. I even liked Age of Ultron. I thought they did a good job in the first Avengers. I'm hoping to get that kind of thing. And, all we know now is that there's 26, confirmed cast for it. And there's more on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they said
great.
His casting, there's a reason for it. Doctor Doom is going to tie in with Tony Stark's death in the story. That's what I read from the Russo brothers. Well, I guess, but I hope not. I really don't want them to be. I don't, like you said, I don't want him to be a variant either. I just want him to be Doctor Doom. We want to see the Mr. Badass right from the start.
We want to see Victor Von Doom.
My cynical assumption is this is some sort of marketing stunt. Disney Marvel is thinking to themselves, our last couple of movies, they haven't been doing as good as they used to in the past. We're not getting butts in seats. We're not really getting people to stream these after the fact. We're not making back as much money, and we're not doing, gangbusters the way that we used to with all of our Marvel movies. It must be because we don't have Robert Downey Jr. anymore. That is probably why. So I feel like they started with that. Okay, what's the next movie we're doing? Doomsday? Great, stick him in there. And then I feel like the Russo brothers heard this news and had to work backwards from there. Like, okay, shit, we've got Robert Downey Jr. We've got to figure out what we're going to do with him. He has to be in this movie. They told us so. I guess he's Doctor Doom now. It's like, and for them to make this announcement, Dave, like what you said, where, oh, well, it has something to do with Tony Stark died, and then somehow Doctor Doom. That's got to be them scrambling. Like, we don't know. He's just there.
And Doctor Doom isn't some flippant, like jokester. He's dead serious, and I want to see that. If he's, hey, no peace signs. Oh, just kidding. Worked for Tony Stark. I don't want that to be Doctor Doom. And I do think
Doom also doesn't see himself as a bad guy. He sees himself as a benevolent leader. He, weirdly enough, as a supervillain, very much seems to care about his people. And in most iterations, his people love him.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because that all came about in John Byrne's run in the Fantastic Four. Like early on, he was always like a huge dictator and all this stuff, and Byrne made him out to be, even though he is, I think we can say evil. He does bad things. Yeah. He thinks that ends justify the means. His people loved him. They were all fed. They were all happy. He kept them fed and warm and everything, a good leader does. He took care of his people. So,
like a child of Thanos.
Yeah. And it was the thing, even in Secret Wars in the comics, the second one, not the first one. That's
Special Investigation.
But no. Secret Wars, not Secret Invasion. Secret Wars, the second one, Doom was trying to save the universe. Of course, he was making himself king of it all, Lord Emperor Doom. But he wanted to save everybody. His goal was to save everybody. He just went about, the wrong way. And Alex says if they make him a variant, the movie is going to be a lot worse.
Agreed.
I think we can all agree on that.
Probably. You know, to piggyback off of what you said there, Keith, in the 90s animated Spider-Man, where they did Secret Wars, it was kind of something similar. And I remember watching this even as a kid, and I'm like, well, as a teenager, I remember watching this and I'm thinking, what Reed Richards is saying doesn't make sense. So they arrive on Doom's planet because the Beyonder and Madam Web, you know, who were orchestrating the Secret War, gave Doom his own planet. And so they arrive there, Reed Richards and then Spider-Man. And Spider-Man doesn't know who Dr. Doom is. So Reed has explained he's a horrible, despotic leader, and he rules with an iron fist. And Spider-Man's looking around at all the smiling, happy people, kids playing. He's like, yeah, seems real evil. And so Reed's like, yeah, this is what he does. It's all on the surface. It's all surface level. And then, you know, they ask the people, they're like, oh, yeah, no, we're great. We've got food. You know, we live in great health. All the diseases are gone. No, Doom's a great dude. And then Ben Grimm goes and he runs into Doom. And Doom's like, oh, hey, Ben, how about I cure you? Okay, thanks. And so during this entire episode, Doom is just like a really chill, good guy. And even Spider-Man's like, Reed, I don't know what you're talking about. This guy is really cool. And Reed's like, no, it's really bad. You'll see. And it turns out like the evil that was happening was he was, I guess, distracting the good guys from fighting the other villains. But yeah, at the end of the episode, it turned out Doom was fine. He didn't do anything wrong.
And that's really how they have to have Doom in Doomsday.
And this was like late 90s.
Like, we can assume that there's going to be an incursion between the MCU universe and the Fox X-Men universe, and he's probably going to be trying to save, well, both universes or one universe, because we know when an incursion happens, one universe survives, the other dies.
Yeah.
So he's either going to try to stop it, save both universes, and maybe do it going it the wrong way, or he's going to be like, we're just going to kill this one off to save this one because this is, you know, the right universe or something. He'll be thinking he's doing good and saving people, but much like Killmonger in the Black Panther movie, he's just doing it the wrong way. And
yeah.
This thought today too. You know how Doctor Strange said there was only one way in 14,605 scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
How come they, like in the Doctor Strange movie, the Doctor Strange was the one who stopped Thanos? That's two possible outcomes right there. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a different universe, and things didn't end well. Like,
well,
he
that's
probably
went through all the other universes, right?
No, he just went through all the different variants of how that event could happen in their universe, all the different outcomes in their universe, and him reading the Darkhold and not dreamwalking. Is that what it's called? Dreamwalking, and basically being, you know, killed is probably not one he wanted to see happen. So they did kind of win, but that universe is.
I think not only that, but in that universe, it was a lot more heroes died. I think it was like a huge number, and that's why, you know, the only heroes left are like the Illuminati.
No, I thought somebody just commented. I don't see it though.
Oh, but yeah, no, I think when it comes to a lot of these movies, Dave, that it's not all of the writers always paying attention to every single detail. I don't know that there's always, you know, solid communication, because I still think back to, while I love Spider-Man Homecoming, I still remember like everybody pointing out that year is wrong. I don't think they did that right. I don't think they did the math. Yeah. And they never changed it for the home release or anything. They're just right. Like, whatever.
Math was off, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know what happens when the math is off. The science is off, and it ruins everything. Like, everything was ruined on Spawn. Like how I brought that back? Huh? Or Brett?
I'm so excited. You brought it back to Spawn. We get to talk about it more.
Thanks, Dave. You really saved us all. Yeah.
Do we have any other?
Actually, no, I don't have any other news tonight.
Oh crap!
Well, maybe
All right,
something. We'll talk about
fun,
something
man.
after this, but we can rate it. Would you
Okay,
like?
I'll rate it. This was a terrible show. I'm not
You
gonna rate.
gonna rate just these
episodes.
episodes or the whole season?
I'm gonna do the last 2 episodes and the whole season. I
Okay.
can't believe I started off giving the first 2 episodes a 4.5. I really, thank you. I really gave it a chance. Thought maybe it would go somewhere. I was absolutely wrong.
Ooh.
And it just got worse from there. Can't believe you guys.
Real quick, don't mean to interrupt you, Dave, but real quick, for those of you out there that are new to watching our channel, anytime we say the magic word, absolutely, we all have to take a drink.
And if you're on
And if
Twitch,
you want to play along, yes, that's right. If you want to play along and you're on Twitch, you can use your channel points to buy an absolutely.
If we say it, we drink. If you say it, you gotta buy a gem.
That's right. Anyway, Dave, your rating. You were telling us how fantastic Spawn is and how much you love it.
Yeah, this is just right up there with Morbius for me, I tell you.
Oh, no.
No, Rebel Moon is closer to it than Morbius is. Let's just say that. Like I said, I barely watched these last 2 episodes. I couldn't concentrate on it. I got the gist. I remember the priest and everything. And I remember the battle and saving the kid at the end, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
That show did not make me care whatsoever. So the last 2 episodes are going to get a 1 from me because I could barely watch it. And because I started so high, I'm going to go with for the entire season. I'm going to even it out. And that's only going to come out to a 2.5 for the whole season.
Fair. Yeah, I'm kind of in a very similar boat as you, Dave. Although I didn't start rating it high, I did have high hopes for it. I was a little hyped for it. I thought this was going to be legitimately really good. You know, I mean, I'm hearing nothing but praise for this. I've seen images and figures of Spawn for years, so it's obviously a character that's persevered over the years. He's kind of like other comic book characters that he just, he's been reborn, more stories have been told, backstories have been changed, different other side characters exist. In fact, we didn't bring up one, but there is a character that appeared in these episodes named Chapel. And as he appeared in episode 5, I want to say, he kind of looked like Blade.
was he the mercenary guy?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know his name. Okay.
Yep. So he actually, he's one of those kind of characters that exists outside of Spawn itself. He exists as a character in some of the other Image Comics books. And when he's not, being a mercenary, sometimes he's being an anti-hero, I guess. He's part of a hero team. Gosh, I don't remember what the name was. It was something edgy, I remember that, but I didn't write it down because I didn't care, I guess. That sounds bad. That's literally what it was. It was like, I didn't care, but yeah. So a lot of side characters spawned from Spawn, pun intended.
Nice.
And so, like, the characters lived on. So I'm thinking, going into this has got to be good. It's got to be amazing. I've heard nothing but praise, and how amazing this character is, and how amazing this animated series was. So, I go in, and like Keith, as soon as that intro started, I was like, oh no. Oh, what are we getting into? And then it just kept going, and I noticed a theme among all of these episodes. It's that they drug on. They were the episodes were longer than they needed to be to give us the story that we got. For instance, the overarching story in these last 2 episodes, episodes 5 and 6, could have probably been combined into one episode, because the overarching story is we still have to deal with the child murderer, the senator's son. He kidnaps eventually Wanda's, Spawn's former wife, daughter. And Spawn has to, I guess, save her, if it doesn't inconvenience him too much. And that's pretty much it. That's it. Daughter gets kidnapped, Spawn saves her. A few other minor things happen here and there, but they're inconsequential. Like, they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, we brought up this bill that this senator who's trying to run for president, we get this whole side story. Oh, I'm going to get this bill passed. I don't like that bill. I don't want it to pass. Okay, the bill didn't pass. Cool. And? And then we
It's got to play out over 5 seasons, man.
Right? And then we get the violator. You need to do bad things. Well, I'm not going to do bad things. Okay, then I'll do a bad thing. Okay. And then in between all of that, you've got Spawn being a jerk to everybody. Literally, like, people who are just being really nice to him. These poor homeless folks that are like, yeah, come on into our alley. Do you need food? We'll give you something. Here's a safe place for you to sleep and have your crazy nightmares where you almost murder us every day. And they continue to be nice to him. And you'd think he'd pick up and be like, oh, maybe I should say thank you occasionally. Instead it's like, get out of my way. Oh, I'm sick of you. Oh, you're gross. Get out of my way, old man. Don't tell me how to be a good guy. Like, I was waiting for the old man at one point to be like, hey, Spawn, bro, it's episode 6. You gotta learn your valuable lesson and be a hero. Dude, you can't still be doing this. So I'm watching these, and I got the same feeling throughout this entire season, and that was that the episodes are too long for what they need to be. And when they could have shown us something to give us a better explanation, they sort of half-heartedly told us like it was a last-minute afterthought. Like, Todd McFarlane, he must have been thinking in his head, everybody who watches this animated series, they're already going to know who Spawn is, obviously. And they're all going to know his backstory and all of these people. So I don't need to explain this. And then somebody, at HBO must have said, oh, hey, Todd, I was watching these. Great, by the way. The art is amazing. Who are all of these people and what do they do?
Well, how far in are you? Oh, only 6 episodes.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, I'll have the clown character kind of boringly explain the backstory of everything as we go along. Perfect. So yeah, no, it wasn't great. I have heard that it gets better, but then again, I also heard that it was amazing to begin with, and everybody loves this character and his story. So I don't know that I believe it, and so I'm not super excited to watch season 2 or 3. I would also rather watch something else. Not oh my god, what is the movie that I can't even remember the name? Moonstar.
A Rebel Moon.
Thank
Rebel
you.
Moon.
Wow, I purged it from my brain. I would never watch Rebel Moon again. I would watch this over Rebel Moon. But this is very boring. This is insanely boring. And yes, this is definitely a pick up my phone, play a couple of games of solitaire, and oh, hey, what's going on? Oh, we're still doing like this weird back and forth thing. But yeah, like Dave, I get the gist of it. I got the cliff notes. I understand what's happening. It didn't need 2 episodes for it. So whatever. So these 2 episodes, 1 out of 10. Season overall, 1 out of 10. I don't care. I'm not going to watch it again.
Nice.
You hit the nail on the head with so much of this. The characters were uninteresting. The hero was unlikable. He made a deal to come back, and they never really talked about what made him make this deal. Like, what did he have to come back for? Was it Wanda? Because they didn't really talk about that. He did get his wedding ring, but
Yeah, I think he mentioned that he made the deal so he could go back and see Wanda again, but like because it works off of genie rules, the demon who granted his wish to him was like, "Oh, but by the way, you're in the body of a corpse, another corpse, not your corpse. You're in a different person's corpse, and also it's 5 years in the future."
and you'll dig up your body like every other Spawn does, and that'll be
Yeah.
narrated. I mean, everything about the characters, the voice acting outside of Keith David, the music, the art, like the animation style was not good. They spewed all of the information at us instead of, you know, actually just playing it out and letting us figure it out on our own. But the thing was, they almost had the makings of a good story. Like all the little plot threads that they had going on, if they would have just let each one develop a little bit more and have everything come into play near the end, or, you know, do this, but they rushed through everything. Everything was told to us instead of playing out thing. You know, instead of making Tony Twist such a cliched, you know, mobster guy, have a little depth to him. Have something, you know, do it. Go more into Wanda's backstory instead of her getting, you know, the guy who was framed for killing the kids off because there's a big note in the top of the thing saying, haha, he was framed. Here's proof right on the, you know, top of the thing. Let that play out a little bit. Have, you know, some court time. Do a bunch of different things to let this outline of a story breathe instead of just having an outline and just racing through every point because you're like, oh man, there's going to be a child killer, and then, you know, there's going to be a kid with Spawn's ex-wife with his best friend, and then he's going to want to save the kid because, you know, the demon's going to... Nothing about this interests me in any way watching it. I was like both of you. I was like, had it on, and I would pause it and just like walk away for 5-10 minutes at a time because I'm like, I don't like this. This is not going anywhere that I like. But I am going to give these last 2 episodes a 2. Oh. And I am going to give it overall a 2. It's not good. But there was a few things that could have made it better. Like, they had an outline that could have been good. They had Keith David, whose voice acting was good. And those are about the only redeeming things from this entire 6-episode first season.
I'll give it this. I got a good chuckle out of McFarlane's intros. Like, that's why we parodied them, because they're so over the top and dumb. Like, he's trying so hard to be like deep and philosophical as he's introducing his knockoff comic book character. Totally original, definitely not RoboCop meets any other character.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange meets Ghost Rider.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's so...
And then the fact he's a demon and fire knocks him on his butt. I'm just like...
Is he a demon? I don't even think he is
he's a
anymore.
hell spawn.
I think he... From what I can understand, based on our limited understanding of this character, he is, from what I can tell, a soul put inside of another dude's corpse. Because they explained to us in the previous episodes, it's not his body that has healing powers. The costume does. Wherever this costume came from, whether this is a result of, like, if this is a Hellspawn thing, they give them a magic costume, sure. But it doesn't seem like he has any other... What's that?
Where's the magic helmet?
I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make that much sense. He's got these Oh, yeah.
He needs a spear and magic helmet.
We forgot to bring up how he saves the day by using his magic cape. Yet in a few scenes before that, he's looking at all of his gun collection, and I love the one bum is like, "What you got all them heaters for?" But I guess I think I've heard that phrasing before. I kind of forgot that people would use that as a slang term for guns. But yeah, he's looking at them, and then like he doesn't use them. And I don't think he needs them. It'd be kind of like if we saw Ghost Rider with a gun and people are like, oh, hey, what's that for, dude? Don't you have like magic fiery chains and other things? Like, can't you stare at people and make them relive all of their guilt? Yes, but guns are cool. All right.
Guns are extreme.
Like, Batman with guns.
Yeah. Don't even.
They got paid by the NRA to put some stuff in there.
Yeah, just all around, just.
I do have to wonder. Do you think Todd and Zach know each other in real life? Do you think maybe they're friends? I feel like they'd be good friends if they don't know each
I
other.
think they might clash because their personalities are so strong.
I don't get like, and I don't know Robert Kirkman. I've never heard him talk, but it's funny to me that two of the Image like co-founders, Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld, all they ever talk about, they always have to say, "Oh, I'm the creator of Deadpool. I'm the creator of Spawn." You know, you don't see like John Byrne going around and go, "I'm the creator of Terex the Tamer," or Stan Lee walking around going, "I created Spider-Man." Every other word. It's like they're so worried that someone's not going to give them credit or something. You know, you don't hear Chris Claremont going, "Hey, I, invented all these X-Men characters and the New Mutants." There's something to be said there. And I can't get past it. Anyone who constantly has to try to toot their own horn and say I'm the creator or something just makes no sense. But we're thankfully done with Spawn. When Doug gets back, I want to tell you about the movie I saw this weekend.
What'd you see?
Hold on, I'm gonna go watch season 2. I can't wait.
I'll tell you when Doug gets back. No rush.
You know what's funny is I saw an interview with Stan Lee, and they were talking about like why he always names his characters, with the same initials: Peter Parker, Reed Richards, all that. And you know why? The real reason was he said he's always had a bad memory in his life. So the real reason is if he knew one of the names, he could figure out the other name because it had the same initial to start.
I mean, it's dumb but effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, props to him.
Okay, are you guys ready to hear what movie I saw this weekend?
Sure, I'm ready to hear what.
And enjoyed.
Oh, and enjoyed.
Enjoyed. All right. Wait a minute. Did you
Okay.
see it at the theater?
I saw it at the theater. Sully and I
All right.
went.
Okay.
Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
I cannot say the last time I saw a kid movie like that, and I laughed out loud multiple times. Jason Momoa in this is hilarious. And the movie is actually fun. It's stupid. It doesn't have a plot to say. It has a very thin plot, and they don't care. That's what makes it work.
I mean, doesn't
And-
the game Minecraft not have a plot either?
Correct. And I was shocked. And this movie ended up making $301 million worldwide this weekend.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Wow.
Say goodbye to Snow White.
What did the theater look like?
It was packed when me and Sully saw it. Like, we got tickets early in the morning.
Kidding.
And there was like maybe 8 other people in the theater. And we got there, and it was a full house.
Wow.
And this was at an 11 or a 10:40 showing on a Sunday morning.
Huh.
I was pretty shocked. But it was funny. Like, Jack Black is good in it. He's hilarious. They sing. They just have all this wackiness going on. And it absolutely works.
Absolutely works.
And it was funny because
Minecraft, is that made for people with ADHD? Because I'm starting to love it. Rick and Morty line there, by the way, if you want to hit the button.
I'm glad that you saw it and you're able to give us your feedback on it, because I was not sold by any of the trailers.
they do not do the movie
saw,
justice.
I saw them like and nothing about it seemed remotely interesting. Granted, I'm not the target audience, I don't think, for this movie, and I have never played Minecraft. I know, how terrible of me. But no, I've never played it. I have my my little cousins, they play it. I know a lot of people are into it, and I get the idea. It's essentially like, dumping a box of loose Legos out and just building to your heart's content. I get it. It's a wonderful, creative sounding game, and I am glad that it exists, because I have seen some very creative things. In fact, running joke on TikTok that people are constantly saying is, "Oh, I can't focus on this video unless I see somebody playing Minecraft in the background." It's such a common thing that to see that, like, there's these like phone scam style videos where they're calling up somebody and they're playing a prank on them, but they're always accompanied by somebody running around some really elaborate like Minecraft style build. And I gotta say, these people that put a lot of time in making these fully decked out Minecraft worlds, whether coming up with these amazing houses and weapons and stories, and kudos to them. I don't have the time or the patience to do all that. Sounds like something I would have loved as a kid, though.
Let me tell you, it's crafting things to mine with and mining things to craft with.
Well, as Jack Black says in the movie, first we're gonna mine, then we're gonna craft. Minecraft.
It's a catch-22. You can't do one without the other, Doug.
Just if it isn't too spoilery, Keith, does he live in the world of Minecraft, or is he just a player, or what exactly is the deal?
So the character he plays, Steve, is like one of the original sort of, I think, NPCs of the game.
Oh, okay.
And so at the beginning of the movie, he gets sucked into the Minecraft world.
Oh, all right.
And he likes it there, and he stays there. But
it's Tron.
It kind of is. It has
Tron if it wasn't so like boring and
Hey, I love the first Tron movie.
This game is really man, it could use a graphical update.
And that's what's funny. I think part of the appeal, like my nephews saw it, who are in their 20s. They grew up kind of playing Minecraft. My son, who's 9, he plays Minecraft. He saw it. My younger nephews, who are 8, they saw it because they play Minecraft. It's like they did it at the right time. They hit those huge groups of players who love it, and they didn't try. Like the Minecraft world looks like shoddy graphics. Like they didn't try to be like, we're gonna make it better to appeal, because I think people would have been upset. And it was just an all around good time at the theater. I was shocked beyond belief at how much I enjoyed that movie. Like,
how would you rate it?
If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 6. It's above average. It's not a great movie. Right. Like, it's not something that I'm like, oh my God, they did such wonders with it. But they made it a good time. It's an hour and 40 minutes, and I enjoyed. I left there like, I didn't just waste my time and eat a large bucket of popcorn because I was bored watching a kiddie movie. I still eat a large bucket of popcorn, but I enjoy the movie
every time. Of course.
What I don't understand is why didn't the directors and the creators behind this, why didn't they take this very well-known popular IP of a colorful, family-friendly video game and turn it into a dark, grungy, wet Blade Runner-esque movie with zero relation to the video game it's based on?
Well, they couldn't get Jared Leto, so they had to change everything.
Damn.
By the way, it's funny. Did you guys see the Tron Ares trailer?
No.
I haven't seen it. No.
It's cool. I just tweeted it out on our Not Your Status Quo Twitter. Great. Thanks, guys.
I don't have Twitter.
I
don't
I don't use X anymore.
Twitter. But I was laughing because Charles Murphy, Scooper, all around great. He's actually a Scooper I like because he doesn't claim to know everything. But he had the best line about it. He says, I have a strict rule of seeing every movie that Jeff Bridges is in. I also have a rule to never see anything Jared Leto is in. I don't know what to do.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Yeah.
What I was actually referring to, Dave, in case you didn't catch that, I was making fun of the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Not the cartoon
you didn't miss
one.
Much. The one from the 90s.
Yeah.
Where they took a wonderful, colorful, bright kids video game of just like a happy-go-lucky dude jumping around, riding dinosaurs, and turned it into a dark, grungy edgelord with sparks and mean and...
Come on, it should have been a movie about love. There's mushrooms everywhere.
Oh, yeah, no, they like mention the mushrooms once at the end of the movie. Oh, it's a mushroom. And you know how when Mario eats the mushroom, what does it do?
Makes him big.
Makes him big, yeah. You know what it does in the Mario Brothers movie, the first one from the 90s?
No.
It kind of absorbs ray gun blast, it gets a little big and wobbly, and that's what it does.
Oh, well, that's good.
It's a thing. Certainly.
That is what
happened.
you do. You take something that is beloved enough to make a movie about it and completely change it so that it doesn't
sounds
even
like they
remotely
didn't
resemble.
do that with Minecraft. It
They
sounds
did.
like they actually did Minecraft right.
And then it was funny because the post-credit scene, like
Uh-huh.
everyone was cheering, and I'm like, I don't get it. And my son explained it to me. He's like, "Oh, this," and I was like, "Oh, that's actually a good use of a post-credit scene there."
Nice.
You're not going to spoil it, though, are you?
I did not. No, I will not, because there might be people out there who want to see it, and
Makes sense.
I'm sure I'll see it again because my son, when it gets on home video, however, Netflix, whatever it's going to be on, I'm sure he's going to want to watch it multiple times because we've watched that Plankton movie on Netflix probably 12 times.
Plankton movie?
There's the Plankton
Yeah,
movie.
SpongeBob.
Oh, a SpongeBob
No,
thing.
Plankton
Okay.
is played by one of our stands. So does that mean we have to watch it?
It does, yes. Who is Plankton
Well,
played by?
Clancy Brown.
Oh my God, you're right. I never even put two and two together. That was his voice. 'Cause
Clancy Brown plays Plankton? I know he does Mr. Krabs, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does both. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Pretty cool. I guess that means terrible. I gotta watch a SpongeBob thing. That's so bad. I love
Now-
SpongeBob.
Now, of
Even when
course,
my girls were growing up, I would watch it when they weren't home. It was great.
yeah, me and all of my brothers and sisters and their kids, we all quote SpongeBob whenever we get a chance. But the funny thing is, after seeing this movie and seeing that it made $301 million, and like it was Jack Black, it was Jason Momoa, it was the girl from Wednesday that isn't Jenna Ortega.
Jen Ortega, the blonde.
Yeah, the blonde girl who was really good in this. And then the girl from Peacemaker. I can't think of her name either.
Which girl from Peacemaker?
The what's her name's daughter?
Oh, okay. Tasty. Is that her name? No, that was her name on Orange is the New Black. But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she was in it, and they were all good. And I'm like, okay, it's made $301 million. It's a huge hit. We're gonna start seeing articles popping up that the MCU is trying to cast Jack Black, Jason Momoa, and the entire Minecraft in a large MCU role.
Yep, they're all gonna appear in the new Doomsday. In the first 15 minutes, it's gonna be a completely different movie, and then they're gonna shift to Robert Downey Jr.
I
Got
just
tired
have
of their universe and had to destroy it. And you see how it's going? It's gonna be
An
incredible.
incursion into the Minecraft world.
That's right.
I
Took them
just
all
have one wish for Doomsday, and I don't need this in the original, theatrical cut. I don't even need it on the streaming or the DVD release. If this is just a fan edit, I'll be perfectly happy. But I need somebody to go in and edit every single chair out of the Doomsday movie because they were all taken out of the movie to be presented, so we knew all the cast that was going to be in them. So I need, when we watch Avengers Doomsday, there cannot be a single chair in any building, room, nothing. No chairs. Somebody needs to edit them all out.
Doug, excuse me, but they didn't release the entire cast. They've
Still got
already
more.
said that there's still
Exactly.
more.
That's why there can't be any chairs. Because there's still more cast that they haven't told us about yet.
If they have another live stream where they just show us directors' chairs with names on the back, we march at dawn.
God, so dumb. When it first started, because I was kind of excited, you told us that this was going to happen, and I turned around, and I'm like, okay, nothing's happening. All right, well, I got to get to work. All right, I'll kind of leave it playing here in the corner just so I can see if anything. And so while I'm doing my work and everything, and kind of keep glancing at it, and I see somebody bring out a chair, and I'm like, oh, okay. And somebody brings out another chair. I'm like, is this all it's going to be? And I think I even typed a message. I'm like, okay, so I see a bunch of chairs. What else is happening? 5 hours? It was 5 hours long.
5.5 hours, yeah.
5.5 hours of them
Yep.
just bringing chairs out.
No, the camera would just like move. You would hear a noise or a song, like when Tom Hiddleston was announced. They were playing the Loki theme. And
Oh,
then
boy.
the X-Men, the animated series, yeah, it was. And of course, after it all came out, someone sped it up, so it was like a minute and a half. and it just ran through all the chairs. I was like,
Which is something they could have done to begin with.
that would have been
Yeah.
better.
Oh boy.
I don't know who
still-
down there thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, sometimes you make decisions and they don't pan out. Please don't do it again. There was something else I was gonna say, and now I can't remember what it was.
See, that's your brain doing it again. Your brain
Yep.
remembers that you forgot
did-
something, but you don't know what it is.
I
not right.
did see that there was another trailer and some confirmation of Fantastic Four First Steps at CinemaCon.
There was some new footage. We talked about that last week,
Did we?
where they showed Silver.
I know
Yeah,
we talked about some of the other stuff.
Thursday.
Okay, did you bring that up?
yeah,
All
the
right.
Silver Surfer, and you see.
Right. Yeah, we did talk about that. So, yeah, I guess there was also confirmation that she is in fact pregnant. I don't remember if you mentioned that or not.
I did.
Okay, couldn't remember. It was a long time ago.
It was quite a long time ago. I remember what I was going to say. We got our Thunderbolt tickets today.
Yes. Excited about that. I'm very excited about that.
Thunderbolts asterisk.
Yes. I cannot wait to see that movie.
It really
I
looks
can't
like a
wait
lot
to
of
see
fun.
the asterisk.
It does. It does look like a lot of fun.
It's
like I said-
Minecraft.
Like Minecraft. When I first saw the trailer, I got a lot of like I know I mentioned this a couple of times, so I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but it gave me a lot of James Gunn vibes. Like I could see him. I know that he didn't have any part of this, but it felt like he would have.
Right, they're putting together a ragtag team of people who don't fit, misfits.
And they play off of each other, and they don't always get along, but they have to work together. And I just if the whole buddy cop duo thing between Red Guardian and Bucky is as it was in oh my
What If?
gosh, what was in What If? Yes, if it's anything like that, I'll be so happy because that was the only good episode of this last season of What If, and it was perfect. It was so good.
I will, I almost feel happy that we found out that Red Guardian is going to be in Doomsday because he's going to survive this. We see Sentry boot him out a window at one point, and I'm just like, oh no, please don't kill David Harper. as
Yeah,
Red
should
Guardian.
Should they have done that because it does kind of undermine the
Well, we are
Thunderbolts
dealing with
asterisk?
multiverse, though. We are dealing with multiverses, so
Yeah, they need to put a lid on that.
Well, it's almost over.
I said that right from the start.
I
didn't
know, Dave. I remember, but I didn't think they'd fumble it this hard.
Yeah, I expected more Spider-Man No Way Homes and less Quantum Manias, which Quantum Mania was fine. It wasn't a terrible movie by any stretch, but it certainly wasn't great either.
It wasn't a good Ant-Man movie, especially considering like what we've seen from Ant-Man in the past is it's basically a heist movie with superpowers. I thought it was great.
Yep.
But they didn't really do that for Quantumania. They're trying to use Ant-Man Quantumania to launch the whole Kang movie, all of the movies where he's going to be the primary villain. And Ant-Man has never been that kind of movie. It's always just been the, like, it would come out after the big, as kind of like a cool down movie.
Yeah.
It's like, I think when Ant-Man 1 came out, wasn't it after Ultron, Age of Ultron or something?
Yes. Yep.
It was overall. I think Spider-Man was the first movie after Ultron.
Or was it right before?
I
Hold
don't
on.
remember. I remember
Hold
it.
on. I can
then-
tell you.
Okay. But then I remember Ant-Man 2 came out right after Infinity War.
Yep.
Yes,
Because
Ant-Man came out right after Avengers Age of Ultron,
I thought so.
and Ant-Man and the Wasp came out right after Avengers Infinity War.
And so it did feel weird to me to start a phase with an Ant-Man movie and also have it try to be this, like, sort of, kind of deep thing in this introduction of the main villain. It did feel weird. And I think one of my biggest complaints, dumb complaint, but one of my biggest complaints is the overuse of the stupid CG helmets that they're constantly putting on and off because
Oh, yeah.
you need to see the actors' faces. No actor can be in a movie and show emotion unless we can see their face. It's never been done.
Right, Mandalorians.
There's no way.
No, that never happened, Dave. You know what else it didn't happen? Dread 3D. That didn't happen either.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And
Because,
by the way,
you have to have the helmet off.
a little back to the editing room.
Sure.
What would have made Kang introductions better at the beginning of Phase 5 or even the end of Phase 4? If it would have been an Avengers movie.
I agree.
Because he's more of an Avengers level threat. I mean, the way, Ant-Man punching him out, even though he didn't have any of his tech, really undermined how powerful Kang can be and what a good villain he could be. If he would have taken on the Avengers and basically like fought him to a standstill or something, and then popped out to go wherever in time, that would have been a much better way to handle him than kind of how they did it.
Or I've got one, another back to the editing room. So what if we do have an Ant-Man movie? I think it's kind of a bad way to introduce this villain to kind of open the phase with. But what if we do have a fun Ant-Man movie? I don't know what the overall plot would be, but it wouldn't be necessarily them being in the quantum realm the entire time. But it would be some agent of Kang in some way is able to find a way to escape, whether it's MODOK or whatever it is. But someone's able to get out, and they are stealing this device in order to hopefully get Kang out of the quantum realm. And it's up to, we don't know this. We just know that this guy stole this device. And it's up to Ant-Man and Wasp and, now his daughter to go and try and get this thing back. So now we've got a reverse heist movie. Somebody stole the thing, and they have to steal it back. Great, perfect Ant-Man movie, exactly what we would expect. But then we have our end credit scene. We still do that very ending with, Scott thinking, and it's all over, and it is, right?
Yeah.
But then we go to our end credit scene, and we see Kang, and we see that he did get what he needed. Even though they saved the day and they got the device back, Kang got what he needed. And before the final, we'll see more of blah, blah, blah in the next movie shows, we see him press a button, flash of light, and then all of a sudden, you'll see Kang in a future movie, or we're not done with Ant-Man, or whatever the hell it says. Yeah, Kang will return, or whatever. That's what we see, and I think that would have been a much better way. So we do it similar to Thanos, where it's a slow burn over several movies. Instead, they introduced the idea of Kang to us in Loki in the series, and not everybody watched it. It was a good series, but not everybody watched it, so they weren't aware of this character. So for this to be his introduction instead of a slow burn, his introduction is, he's a dude that was in the quantum realm, and then he got his ass kicked by Ant-Man. Not a good way to intro your, and I get, like, then they want to do their whole multiverse thing, and they're like, but here's all of the other Kangs, and there's a huge stadium of them. Cool, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. The way they did it at first to be successful, I guess this isn't really a Thunderbolts thing anymore, but the way they did things to be successful is, Captain America movies were espionage movies, just with Captain America in them, and like Ant-Man were heist movies, Thor were cosmic movies, and then they inserted the characters. That was a formula that worked, and I think they lost sight of that as soon as Endgame was over.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think they wanted to kind of change things up. They didn't want to be accused of just making the same movie over and over again. So they started trying to do different things. And, once again, looking over all the projects in Phase 4 and Phase 5, there aren't any ones that are, in my opinion, like terrible. There are no Spawns or Rebel Moons in here.
Fair.
They
There is
win
a
from...
They're at least watchable.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing on here. But there's some stuff I really like in here. Like, I love Loki Season 1 and Season 2. I like WandaVision. Yes. Shang-Chi was great. Spider-Man No Way Home. Hawkeye. Multiverse of Madness I enjoyed. I enjoyed Miss Marvel. Werewolf by Night was great. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Guardians of the Galaxy, not only special presentation, a holiday special, but Guardians 3. Deadpool and Wolverine. I enjoyed Agatha all along a lot more than I thought I would.
Yes,
And
yes,
so far,
a lot more than I thought I would too.
so far, Daredevil Born Again has been extremely good. But none of this is like the stuff that's Daredevil Born Again. There's no multiversal things going on. Captain America: Brave New World. Nothing really multiversal going on there. Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes. The Marvels only kind of at the end. It's like for Loki, obviously, very much, multiversal. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, no.
And it almost seemed like the end of Loki too. They were trying to wrap up the whole Kang thing, like, this isn't going to work out well with the court case and everything. So they kind of made it seem like, oh, okay, we hunted down all the possible Kang variants and taken care of. Move on.
And I'm glad
Too
they're
bad he
going.
got in his contract that they couldn't change the actor, because I would like to see Kang play out.
Sure,
Of course, he voided his contract with what happened, so they could recast Kang. It's not out of the picture. I just don't think they want to. I think they realized we kind of messed up his introduction and everything else, so our big bad needs to be somebody better. Now, once again, I'm glad it's Doctor Doom. I wish they didn't go for the nostalgia and have Robert Downey Jr. do it, because everything has been very Iron Man centric in the MCU, and they really had a chance to get away from that and build off it. Instead, Doctor Doom is going to look just like Tony Stark in this. And I know they said, we've heard varying reports. One, that Robert Downey Jr. is here for not Endgame, but he's here for Secret Wars and Doomsday, and then that's it. They're going to recast Doctor Doom. And we've heard they want to keep him around longer, and I'm sure they do, but let him go. He was tremendous as Iron Man. I am very worried that him coming back to do Doomsday is going to be like an MMA guy who fights for too long. And you don't remember the great fighter from when they were in their prime. You remember the guy who was knocked out like 8 times in a row and still was like, I still think I got a championship run in me. I'm not going to retire. I mean, it's not like he needed to do this. He was in Oppenheimer. He won his first Oscar. I mean, he came back, and maybe this is the thing I go back and forth on. Like, he came back, and so I'm like, he knows what's going to happen, and he thinks it's good, so maybe it's going to be good. And then I think he came back for another giant paycheck.
I think maybe I'm overly cynical about this, but it does seem more likely that Robert Downey Jr. was more influenced by the amount of money they were willing to give him. And I think my guess would be he probably was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll come back and do another Marvel movie if you give me $1 billion. Like, all right, sure. Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll put on a stupid Doom costume. Let's do it.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Robert Downey Jr. had a birthday, and I guess on the invitation was him kind of dressed like Doom, but without the mask, and kind of this, what people are saying, it's his Victor Von Doom haircut. I'm going to tell you right now, if
They show his face.
if Doctor Doom does not wear his mask in Doomsday and Secret Wars, he can take it off in Secret Wars if he becomes God Emperor Doom and he fixes his, messed up face. My at the theater review of Doomsday will just be me walking up to a desk and flipping it and walking off.
Can you imagine if this movie, I don't see how it can. I honestly don't. But let's say it flops from superhero fatigue. Could that spell the end of the MCU?
No.
Putting that much money into a movie and having it flop?
The only reason why it won't be the end of the MCU is because they've already got so many projects in development, and they're filming Doomsday and Secret Wars kind of back to back. So they'll be like, we need Secret Wars to make a couple billy. And I don't believe in superhero fatigue, because look at like Deadpool and Wolverine. It was something people wanted to see, and it was good. It made a lot of money. The Marvels wasn't as good as Deadpool and Wolverine. Didn't make a lot of money. And it was, Marvel has such a bunch of characters that people want to see and love. And sometimes they decide to go with ones that are less popular to maybe push a story ahead or whatever, and it doesn't do as well. So, you know, I think they can get back to what made the MCU great, and you know, oh yeah, thanks. Yep, that is the picture. And
Yeah.
I'm telling
And,
you,
I didn't get my invitation either, so don't feel bad. No, the problem with the Marvels, I think, was that they were just trying to do a team up movie with those three. That seemed to be like their main goal, was to get those three in a movie rather than write a movie with a good plot. I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was good. I liked it, but it was too much. Let's put this team together. Not enough.
Why are we putting this team together?
Why are we putting it together? Yeah, like that thing they spent like what, 10, 15 minutes on, the story that she told them about where she had been, was much more interesting than the story they told.
no, true. And I think we talked about that in our review. That would have been a much better movie. And it's funny
Wait, did
because
you say in our review? Do we have a review somewhere that people can watch?
oh yeah, we have at the theater review on our YouTube channel. You should all go check it out.
Oh, nice.
And just so you know, Nia DaCosta in an interview said the movie she pitched
Mm-hmm.
and the movie that you saw were not the same movie. And she wasn't saying that
makes sense.
bashing. She's like, listen, Marvel Studios is a huge machine. They have a way, they have a process.
Yeah.
She said, I didn't want to get in the way of it. They had what they wanted to do. And basically, I changed my movie the way they asked me to. And I wonder what she actually pitched. I would love to hear the story of what she had originally pitched as this movie.
too.
Because it's always interesting to find out what the original vision was as to oppose what we got. Much like when we do Back to the Editing Room. Here's what we got, and here's what we'd like. Here's how we think it could be better, where this is what I had, and this is what it turned into.
Well, I will ask you this then, Keith. Which vision is the original vision?
Have you
Is
heard
this
of
a
the
vision of
ship?
Theseus?
It's funny you say that because Vision is filming right now, too,
Yeah?
in the UK.
Nice.
Vision Quest.
Looking forward to that.
It's just called Vision now. It's not Vision Quest.
Oh, well, I thought we were going to get Matthew Modine and a bunch of wrestlers.
Me too. I'm very disappointed.
You never heard of that movie, Doug?
No, I don't believe so.
I believe Ronnie James Dio was on the soundtrack. Hungry for Heaven, if I remember correctly.
You know what else? I think
Hey.
Lunatic Fringe is on that soundtrack.
I will take your word for it. I don't know what those are either.
That's Red Rider, the guy who sings Life is a Highway.
Really? Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, Dave. Anyway, moving on.
Cool. So, should we find somebody to raid?
Yeah.
Well, TG is on, but I don't know how much longer he'll be on.
Yeah, he was on when I was
before
setting
we got
up
on.
today.
So by the time if we were to raid him, he'd probably end up ending the stream. Should we find somebody else then?
If we can, yes.
All right. Well, we've got Graduating is on. Carmen
Yeah,
is on. I don't remember who Ketsukoto is.
Oh, they're playing Middle Earth Shadow of War, too. Interesting.
Hmm.
You know what? We could do Graduating. That's one of Sierra's friends, isn't it?
Yeah. Was that
All
the
right.
one that we couldn't get into, or what was it? I thought. Was that? No, that was somebody else, right? That was R-rated.
Oh, you know what, Dave? My memory is garbage, so I have no idea. I don't remember what Keith discussed in our last stream. That's how bad I am. I'm like,
Reed Richards.
Hey, I heard
What
the thing.
did I just
Parker.
do?
Yeah. Keith is like, I literally said all of that. Well, did you see this thing? Yes. Oh.
I don't know what I just
That's
did,
done.
but it
don't know
went
what you
into
did?
this goal and everything else.
What?
Yeah, I think I typed something wrong.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Now it's starting to rate. I typed something
All
wrong.
right.
That was crazy. But for those of you on YouTube who are still watching us, rating is something we do on Twitch, where we take our viewers and take them to another content creator that we like and enjoy, and you share the love. There is a way to do it on YouTube, but it's chunky and weird, and you have to know who's live before you go live when you're getting off, and it's not as intuitive as it is on Twitch, who we can just look up right now and run out there. So, thanks everybody.
Yeah, YouTube. Get your shit together, YouTube. Just get all your shit, get it together, put it in a bag.
That's right.
And I don't care what you do with it after that. Just get it together.
But thanks everybody for coming out. We will be back Thursday night talking about episode 8 of Daredevil Born Again. We'll be back next Monday talking about The Last of Us season 2 premiere. We got a lot to cover. It's all good. But if you're here on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, liked, commented, all the things that help a small YouTube channel like us, please do so. And we will see you all Thursday night. Hopefully we'll see you Thursday night.
Hey, fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.